you have that mind as well. We're very much alike, I'm sure.
Hi, Joida. And hello, Robin.
Hi, John. Hello, Robin.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, here we're at 7 o'clock and you do have a quorum.
Yay.
Yay is right.
Oh,
We have a quorum. We have a meeting.
and we have Christine here too. Welcome, Christine.
Hi, Mr. John, and hello, everyone.
Hey, you can call me anything you like today. You don't have to call me Mr. John, Christine. Okay?
Oh, I like it. I think it's cute.
Okay, well, I think we'll call the meeting to order, Tegan. It's what? It's 7:02.
Looks like 7:01 to me, but
7:01.
yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, Christine will put the youngest in the group here as to give us lead the pledge. Would you do that for us?
So IT will put up the flag for us, for those of you who haven't been to one of our meetings before.
Hang on, Christine. Then.
Okay.
You're putting her on the spot already, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Christine, if you'd like to lead us in the pledge.
I'm so nervous. I pledge of allegiance
Allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the
States
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well done, Christine. Thank you
Please
very
be
much.
seated.
Very good. Just here, Tegan, as a matter of protocol, I know the last meeting we had, I raised an issue on the minutes after, on the agenda afterwards. And so I just do have a question on the approval of the agenda. The question actually relates to follow up on some of the items in the minutes as they relate to the, well, was it the, let me just turn it up here. The mural program, item 9B
Okay.
and D. So,
So if you have a question about the minutes, we can take those when we get to item 6. If you want to change the agenda, that's in item 5. We can't talk about things that are not on the agenda. We can just move things around in different places, or we can table something if you would like to talk about it later. But we should probably start with a roll call.
you're absolutely right. My gosh, I'm a newbie here, I guess. So let me go through. Cecilia, welcome. So we'll start with a roll call. Myself, present. Joya Ghosh,
Joyita Ghosh, present.
Cecilia Hutnick,
present.
Robin Hayes,
Present.
Cecilia Lee.
Christine Lee.
I'm sorry, Christine Lee,
Praise that all. Present.
Sandeep Umarini,
Present.
Jamie Heckelman,
Present.
and Juliana Brahim. Juliana, you're going to have to unmute. Juliana, we've got your video, but we don't have your voice. Juliana, can you unmute?
I think we could probably move on and catch her when she's able to unmute the microphone.
Okay, all right. Very good. So we're all present. We do have somebody recording this, obviously, right, Tegan?
We have two new members. So I wanted to take a moment to introduce them and let them tell about themselves, if that's okay, Chair.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So our first new commissioner is Jamie Heckelman, and Jamie is a professional artist and a member of the Los Gatos Rotary. And Jamie, if you'd like to say a few words about why you've volunteered to join us, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I got to meet Robin Hayes. She's my acupuncturist, but then she also kind of said, oh, you should join the art commission. I'm here to just make the city pretty. And I'm like, I'm new to Milpitas. Let's do it. Let's make the city pretty. And it just really drawed me to it.
Wonderful. Great. And our other new commissioner is our student commissioner, Christine Lee. And Christine is a junior at Milpitas High and president of Heart, the art club there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hi. So I got to know this commission through Mr. John, and he has been like a wonderful leader and just a role model to look up to. And so I thank him for everything and all the opportunities that were gifted to me.
Christine, I did not pay you to say that. Okay. I will tell you that Christine right now is involved in a mural actually at the high school, at the library, and an interesting challenge because the subject matter is very important, very relevant to what's going on at Milpitas High right now. And Cecilia.
Sorry, hello there. Hi,
Hi.
nice. Good evening.
Good evening. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. I am a photographer, conceptual photographer, and lifelong Milpitas resident, born and raised here. And this is my second commission meeting, and I'm very much looking forward to getting more into it and serving on some extraneous committees having to do with other projects and continuing to learn from the more experienced members of this commission.
Super, super. You can always lean on Robin. She's really the old hand at this. And Sandeep is also a photographer. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sandeep?
That is correct.
Yes.
Hi, Cecilia. Nice to meet with you.
Yes, nice to meet you as well.
Now, Cecilia, are you related to Dave Hutnick?
That is my father, yes. And I actually, Robin Hayes is a friend of my mother. So I've actually known her just about my whole life as well.
All your life. My mother works in my office. She's the chiropractor here.
Cecilia, I met your father then recently, David.
Yeah, he did mention that.
Very good. Okay. So let's move on here. Approval of the agenda.
Seating of the alternates, we don't have to do that, but it's on the agenda.
Well, I think you're going to talk about that later too, aren't you?
Sure, yes.
Okay. So then we move on to item 5, approval of the agenda. Do I have an approval for the agenda? Robin, you're going to unmute.
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Good evening, everyone. I'm sorry, I had some audio issues at the beginning. Thank
No
you.
problem. You were hearing us though, Juliana, right?
That's right. Yes, I was.
Okay, well, welcome. Okay.
Thank
Okay, do I have a second for approval of the agenda?
I will second it.
Thank you, Joanna. So those in favor?
Aye.
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 Hi.
Are there any nay votes? No, all have voted. Do we need to go through the whole list, Tegan?
Chair, it would be super helpful for me because I don't have a secretary tonight, so I'm doing double duty. So yeah,
okay.
if we do roll call votes, that will be helpful.
All right, I'll call out then. Commissioner Ghosh,
Aye.
Commissioner Hutnick,
Aye.
Commissioner Hayes,
Aye.
Commissioner Lee,
Aye.
Commissioner Umarini,
Hi.
Commissioner Ibrahim,
Aye.
Commissioner Heckelman,
Aye.
and I also. Okay, Susan?
Just a quick point of note, our student commissioner is not a
He doesn't
non-voting
vote.
member.
That's right. Yes, I'm sorry, but Christine. definitely. Okay, approve of the minutes then. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Commissioner Hayes?
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second.
I'm sorry, I didn't see who that was.
Juliana seconds.
Thank you, Juliana. Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Do I have any nays? I'm sorry, do I have any nays? Okay. Commissioner Ghosh,
Aye.
Commissioner Hutnick,
Aye.
Commissioner Hayes,
Aye.
Commissioner Umarini,
Aye.
Commissioner Brahim,
Aye.
Commissioner Heckelman.
Aye.
Thank you. And I'm an aye too. Okay, then we come to public forum. Is there anybody here for public forum?
I'm afraid you have no guests this evening online.
Well, don't forget though, that this is also on tape. So there will be viewers, I think, that they're not looking tonight. So to check in on us, see what we said and what the agenda consists of. Thank you. Okay, Tegan, announcements.
I just wanted to give you an update on our commission status. This is the first time we've had a full house in a long time. So we are very happy to have all the commission, regular commissioner positions filled and one of our student commissioner positions filled. That leaves us with 2 alternate positions still available and 1 student commissioner position still available. So it would be wonderful if you could spread the word and we could see if we could get those positions filled so that if anyone is absent, and fill their spot for the evening and have additional voices participating in the meeting.
Very good. I just wanted to make a point to the commissioners, and in particular, Tegan, to you. One of the things I had pushed for, seems like 400 years ago, but is to have 2 students, non-voting students on the commission. And my thought was that it would be even better to have 1 from the Milpitas High School and 1 from Calaveras. And we did actually at one point have a young man who joined us from Calaveras, but he didn't make it for very long. So Juliana, are you still active at the Calaveras High School?
I am active in their Rotary Club, and I actually raised my hand because I wanted to know if we could have an adult school be part of the student body.
That is a good question and I don't know the answer, so I will have to check on that. I think the intention is for students to be under 18. Your adult students would qualify as regular commissioners, I believe.
Very good. Thank you.
I think some of the high schoolers did apply. And I was wondering, did you get any of the applications from Calaveras High School?
I don't see the applications when they first come in, but I can certainly check with the city clerk and see if she has anything from Cal Hills
Okay.
or anything at all in the queue.
Okay.
That would be really very good. And I think if you can get back to us, Tegan, fairly soon, we can get to work. If there have been some that are interested that haven't pursued it, I think having some, another student on the commission board would be great. So particularly from Calaveras High, there are some very talented individuals there. Joyita, I think you will agree.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Very good. So we move on then to business items. 9A. Tegan, would you like to introduce that topic to us?
Sure, I will. And if you'll indulge me for a minute, I'm going to share the work plan on screen, or try to here, if I can figure out how to do it. Let's see. Screen share.
I'm going to sign in again on my computer so I can see that on a big screen if you see me coming in again.
Okay, Robin.
Sorry for the delay here. PowerPoint's up, but not my.
Well, whilst Tegan's doing that, I will fill in the time. It is really good. Tegan, it's an underestimate to say that we've been short-staffed for a long time. So it's really good to have a full house, and all of you have an interest in this. So it's, you know, we could really do some great things for the city. So it makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, hopefully now you can see.
Coming up. We just have shared screen.
Okay, there's our minutes. And I'm going to go down to our work plan, and hopefully you can see that. Are you able to?
Can you enlarge it a little bit, do you think?
I will certainly try. How's that?
That's terrific.
And you see the whole thing? Because I have a small screen.
Yeah, it's too much. Perhaps we have to go back to the.
Go down a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's too small.
Small. Okay. Let me see what I can do here. Zoom to 50%.
There you go. Try that.
How's that?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you for your patience. So I wanted to bring back our work plan. We have not met since City Council approved your work plan, but it is now approved. And that means that we can begin working on the work plan. I prepared a staff report for you to tell you of some of the things that I think we can get started on right away. The Milpitas Arts and Culture Grant Program, for those who don't know, is our way of supporting nonprofit arts organizations by providing them with free space to have their functions, such as performances. And we were, prior to the pandemic, working on this. We were about to develop a brochure and website to really promote this. And I think with the pandemic hopefully winding down soon, we can start again on that. This also includes the mobile stage as a venue for people. And so that was one item that I think we can get ready to do. We have a historical markers, park markers project with the Parks and Recreation and Cultural Resources Commission, and you have a subcommittee, and I'm going to try to reconvene that subcommittee in February so that we can restart that project. That project is to develop a plan for commemorative markers in the parks that are named after someone, so that folks will know who the park is named after, and hopefully incorporate some artwork in to the project to make it an artistic element of the park as well as a historical information piece.
Tegan, before you start, do you want to go through the whole thing first and then we'll come back and ask questions, or?
Sure. Why don't I go through the whole thing just so everybody gets an idea of what's on your plan?
Yep.
We also have a mural program that was approved and fast-tracked in the fall, and we will talk later about the artwork that was on the mural program initially. But one of the things that council added to it when they approved it was the addition of one of our 4 mural projects needing to be by a Milpitas artist. And we don't have currently any Milpitas artists in the pre-qualified group. So I know that we need to reissue the call for artists, and I would like to do that this month and have the commission's assistance encouraging Milpitas artists to apply for that. We will also be launching a website where the members of the public can nominate sites for murals. And I think we'll be ready to do that in February. Of course, the commission is encouraged to nominate sites, and we hope that you will spread the word and invite others that you know to nominate sites. I see Robin's real hand up. Yes?
Hi. So Dick Hutnick, Courtney's dad. Courtney, I thought your name was Courtney, not Cecilia, but anyway, she's he said he knows some muralists that live in Milpitas.
Wonderful.
And so John and I talked to him. Remember, John?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can get that information. Maybe you can do that, Cecilia. Can you get your dad?
I think definitely. I have his information, and so part of what I was wondering is, where are we directing potential applicants?
All right, I'm going to stop you there for a moment. Let Tegan go through the work plan as she outlined it on 9A, and it's I guess the 3rd or 4th sheet in your package. Let her go through this, explain it all, and then we can go back and discuss each of these items in particular, okay?
Sure, and actually the mural program is so important that it has its own item on the agenda.
Yeah.
So we will talk about that one in more detail. Another item on your work plan is a park art RFP. That's a request for, that should be a RFQ actually. Request for, no, RFP. RFQ, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused tonight. A request for qualifications from artists who would do artwork for parks other than murals. And it's not super urgent unless we are going to use this to pre-qualify artists for the Dixon Landing Park project. And that's another item on the list, the next one on the list. We had a artwork that was approved for Dixon Landing and had sort of started the process, but never actually got past the engineering phase. And due to COVID, that got delayed and the artist has dropped out. So we need to resume that project. We still need art in that park. And I'm suggesting that the commission can visit the park individually and then be prepared to discuss possible sites for artwork at that park and the types of art at the March meeting. If it were not COVID, we might take a field trip out there, but since it is COVID, it might be easier if you just all went on your own and took pictures of spots that you envision artwork at that park. Another item that's very important on our list is the Public Art Master Plan RFP. There is a CIP that's a CIP project that we're waiting for council's information on that will be submitted to them for funding. So we can't really start too much on that until we have funding. But
Tegan, what is CIP?
Capital Improvement Project.
Okay.
And so our big projects go in this Capital Improvement Project fund, and we, in preparation for that, can begin to discuss what you'd like to see in an RFP for a Public Art Master Plan, which would probably begin with us staff providing samples of RFPs for other cities that recruited organizations to develop a Public Art Master Plan for them, so you can kind of see how other cities have done it.
Okay. I've got lots of questions on that too.
Okay, sure. Public art maintenance is on our list as well. This has been on for several years. We are working with purchasing on an RFP right now. This one has been approved in the CIP program, so we have funding for this. And it's just a matter of us putting the call out for a conservator to evaluate our art, let us know what we have and what needs to be done to keep our art in good condition. The performing arts are on your list every year, and really the commissioners, I would hope you would attend performances in Milpitas as your individual schedules allow, and there will be Milpitas Community Theater performance coming up in March, and it's currently scheduled to be an indoor performance at the community center. So hopefully you will all have an opportunity to go see Disney's Descendants. And then the Phantom Art Gallery is our other staple that's always on our list of work plan items. And the commissioners review applications each year and attend artist events as their individual schedules allow. And we have a Phantom Art Gallery item on tonight's agenda, so we'll talk a little bit more about that in item C. So that is our work plan. And now I will let you all weigh in.
Okay. I'll start off a few of the questions. I'm sure there are others to come. Going back to the historical markers, we did have a subcommittee, and I know I was one of the members. Was there not another member? Yeah, sure. Okay. So I presume when we say we're restarting, basically all we're doing is actually just not going back to the original way. We're actually just continuing. Is that not a correct statement?
Yes, that's correct. We're reconvening that group. We had been on quite a long break.
Okay. Okay.
And it's time for us to get back to that project.
Okay. And so would the History Society would also be involved, right? Joe?
Yes, there is a member of the Milpitas Historical Society that's a participant in that group. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, I think I'll jump from the mural program for the moment. On the public art master plan, is there a chance that you could actually provide the commissioners with some cities that have worked on this before or are presently working on it? To me, this is the cornerstone for how we go forward on a lot of areas. And with the Metro District and what's happening on Main Street, I hope, it would be very good if we actually got onto that almost immediately, T. I don't know how long it would take to actually get somebody or a group to assist us who would really do a good job for us. But my question, I guess, is could we not get that information to us, to the commissioners before the March meeting? In fact, indeed, in the next few weeks or the next few weeks, so that we can actually kickstart and take a look at it. Several local cities, even outside cities, do have public art master plans. So we could actually glean from that a lot of information that would help us put together, a profile of what we're looking for.
Sure. Staff could certainly provide you with a list of links to other cities.
Right.
It's in that area, so you could begin doing some research. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that would be possible in the next couple of weeks or so?
Yes, we can provide you with some information and then also include it in your March packet so that we can discuss it in the March meeting. Mm-hmm.
If this becomes as relevant as I think it should be, is there any possibility that we could have a special meeting in the next month in February?
We could certainly talk about that at the end of the meeting when you guys are talking about what your next steps will be. Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. On this topic, I noticed the council approved, I think, the work plan in October the 18th or somewhere around that date. And I noticed actually that as it's outlined, it's sort of outlined in a slightly different format to the way we put our work plans together. But it doesn't appear in that that it required a CIP. And I'm not sure whether it was during a commission meeting. I think it was, but maybe not. Maybe just a conversation between you and I, that the cost of developing this and getting somebody to assist us in this could come out of the Public Art Fund. Am I not remembering that correctly?
It is possible that council might wish to do it that way. Sure. Yeah. So our work plan charges us with developing the request for proposals this year, and that the request for proposals would be issued in the 22-23 year. So that next year would be the year that the project is actually written. The research is done and the project is written. So we're doing the background work right now.
And why does it take so long to do that?
These are big studies. They're public art master plan is like any other master plan that we undertake. The Milpitas Metro plan that's been going on, and the Park and Recreation master plan that we just finished. So they require a lot of community outreach as you're working on the projects. So they are kind of lengthy projects.
No, I do understand that. And that is why I'm asking why we can't get started on that earlier. I recognize it does take time.
The city council's approved us for working on the request for proposals right now. And my understanding was that they were going to review funding possibilities as part of the CIP project list. So
clarify for me then. So our recommendation would be to council to consider this and also give us guidance on funding. Is that a fair statement?
It's already on the CIP list. So there isn't necessarily a recommendation that you need to make. It's there. They will be considering it. But perhaps as part of our research, we would have a sense of what the other cities in the area have paid for this type of a project and that kind of thing. So
okay.
That's what we're doing right now.
Okay. I guess the reason that I see this, even though I know it's going to take a while, the reason I see this as important is because we do have, and we've now kickstarted a mural program. To me, one of the things we need to address is some guidance, some broader guidance, not only to the commission, but also to the community and the council on how we're going to go about that and how we make the selection, et cetera, et cetera. So from my vantage point, this is a very, very important, it's the cornerstone. Okay.
I agree with that, because what happened was with the Great Mall project, the project couldn't move forward because they couldn't reach out to the neighborhood. And I was wondering how that problem can be solved. And so it doesn't happen again. For instance, for the Dixon Landing project, we might approve of something, but how are we going to outreach to the neighborhood here? So maybe we could, brainstorm some ideas, even on that, how to reach out to neighborhoods and how to get them respond earlier, because we spent a nice, good enough time with artists and choosing murals, and which was beautiful murals.
Yes. Not a
We've
hard
done
work
that.
with.
We should have quite a history of that. We've done that for many of the art in the park. I don't know if anyone was on the art commission back then, but we had ones where we sent postcards. We did ice cream socials in the park. There are a lot of options on how to reach the neighborhood, and then we did ballots and collected them.
Yep, you're right. We did. And we did some very effective ones. Higuera Park, I think, was the last one we did.
I think postcards at this point might be the best bet, if we can do that.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah.
Flyers, postcards.
Flyers, postcards. Yeah, it's not too hard to make. Yeah.
So just to step back a moment, how we go about it is great, but I think we need some guidance on what exactly, how we want the city to look, how we recommend the city should look, and then provide that to the community and get their support. Same thing, we're saying the same thing, Robin. I think it's just, I think we need some leadership.
Yes, John, and we've talked about that and how we want things to blend into the city, like the electrical boxes, for example, which do not blend into the areas, and we don't want to make those mistakes again.
Right, got it. Okay, so there's some basic justifications there, Tegan, at least, and we'll bring it up again at the end of the meeting, to possibly having a special meeting just to discuss how we find that individual, that group that will give us some guidance and put together a public art master plan. If we start that soon, maybe it'll be, you know, a month or so earlier in getting it going and getting it done. All right. The public art maintenance, we did start. There's one area, I know there's one particular artist that was concerned about flautist in the middle of the pond by the Civic Center there. And I don't know, have we made any progress on that, or would that be incorporated in this this purchase that we're talking about here, the RFP?
Certainly, if we contract with a conservator to handle repairs and maintenance on our projects, that would be included. The challenge with that particular piece is it's in the middle of a body of water, and we need to have the pond drained in order to get to it to do the work. And there's no current plan to do that.
Okay. If it's warmer, I don't mind wading in there.
I believe the piece needs to be taken off of its base and taken somewhere.
Okay.
It's a fairly complicated operation.
Is the artist, have they been kept aware? Do they know what we're doing or what we're attempting to do?
Is she still around?
She's out of the area. She's moved out of the area, and I have not been in touch with her recently.
Okay, she's out of state. Yeah. Okay. The other thing then, how would the electrical boxes actually fit into this? And is there any interest in this at all? I mean, if you look at the electrical boxes right now, some of them are absolutely atrocious. We should be painting over them and just leaving them as blanks. On some of the others are very creative, and I wouldn't touch them, but they just need to be, what's the word?
Retouched.
Thank you.
We can talk a little bit more about utility boxes in the mural program item.
Okay. All right. Okay, then I have no more questions on 9A. Are there any more questions on 9A from the commissioners? No.
Well, I'll just say that I just looked up public art plans, and there's a number of them online. Here's San Diego. I saw Napa, but they're not very specific. San Diego, I think more so, but we're not at the same level that they are. Oh, this is nice.
I think we need to go local, Robin. There are several local ones of our size in terms of community size that we could probably tackle. Okay. Tegan, shall we move on? Oh, so I guess we have to approve the work plan as it stands. The recommendations we have to
Hoping that
approve.
you would approve the staff recommendations for next steps.
Okay. So do we approve the staff recommendations for the next steps? Do I have a motion?
I have a motion to approve the staff recommendation for next steps.
Thank you. Commissioner Ghosh, do I have a second? Robin,
I'll second. I was waiting for someone else to do it.
okay. Well, Commissioner Hayes she is approved. Okay, so all those,
Would you like me to call a roll call for you?
would you mind?
I would be happy to, sure. Yeah. So, your egg
Yes,
and Commissioner Brahim,
Aye.
Commissioner Ghosh,
Aye.
Commissioner Hayes,
Aye.
Commissioner Hutnick,
Aye.
Commissioner Heckelman,
Aye.
Commissioner Umarani.
Aye.
Very good, thank you.
and you notice actually Tegan has them all in alphabetical order.
Actually, I made a mistake on alphabetical order, but thank you.
Okay. Very good. So then we're on to 9B, mural program.
Yes, give me just a moment to share the PowerPoint for you.
Actually, whilst Tegan is pulling that up, the agenda report is the second. It follows the work plan, but it's listed as 9C. It actually should be 9B.
Oh, yes, it is. You're right. Thank you for catching that for me. And you see that?
Yes, we can.
Okay, wonderful, good. So I wanted to give you an update on the mural program. If you'll remember back to the fall when the City Council approved the mural program, they asked us to fast track a project for the Main Street Industries mural, which we did. So there were actually 2 murals happening in the fall, one of which was part of the mural program, the Main Street Industries mural. The other one for Holiday Magic was separate from the murals program, but similar too. And I wanted to share with you the results of both of those projects. So the first one, the Holiday Magic mural, these murals were painted live at Holiday Magic. Due to some delays in getting started, the members of the public actually were treated to more painting to watch than we even hoped they would be. Members of the public were invited to contribute ideas and even to paint. We had 3 Cal Hills High School students who volunteered as painters and assisted. And after the event, the murals were removed and stored for future use during the holidays. And I want to share some pictures with you. So this is our artist, Eddie Sue, and one of his assistants painting on Main Street. And they laid down an initial backdrop of, snow and sky and greenery on these wind walls, and then began painting over it. If you'll recall, Eddie's concept was round things, the snow globes and ornaments, and they were decorated in different ways, and people were invited to contribute their ideas. Most people just chatted with him as they went by and gave ideas. These young ladies from Cal Hills, though, actually did come and paint a couple of times. And don't know if you recognize what they're painting, but they were invited to paint something from their own culture and something round and related to the holidays. And this is a pan dulce. And so you can see the finished one over here. I don't have the greatest picture, but they got it started, and then the artist finished it up. And so there's little secrets like that all throughout these murals. This is the same mural from another direction. So we're standing kind of by the library here. This one is the mural that was behind the skating rink. And this one was over by the stage. This was a bit unexpected. We didn't anticipate putting a mural there, but had a request to use some additional fencing in that area. And because it was such a prominent fence, the artist really liked that location and was excited to paint there. So this one has Diwali lamps on this ornament, if you can see them. Here's our student artists painting again on a different section. This is over by the food court, and they did some areas that had food related candies and treats as the themes. And so they're working on a gingerbread house here, and you can kind of see the gingerbread house over here in that larger section of it. And again, here's the backdrop by the stage, and the artwork made a really nice backdrop behind all the activities. Here's the one behind the rink. This is a picture of our artist, Eddie Sue. And I just wanted to share with you this, the story of the tiger here. There was a gentleman in the community who came out every night and is, I believe, of Chinese descent, and really enjoyed watching the paintings come along, and chatted with the artist and mentioned that we really should have something for Lunar New Year. We should really have a tiger. And so Eddie added this tiger at his urging. And that was one of my favorite pieces in the mural.
Yeah, and the coming year is the year of the tiger, right?
The year of the tiger. We're getting ready to celebrate virtually for the year of the tiger. Exactly. So
yeah, the students were very excited. I mean, they came and reported back to our teacher that they really enjoyed, and they were very happy and grateful that they had this opportunity.
Good. I'm glad that they had fun. We certainly had fun having them out there.
Yeah, they did have hours, community hours, which they needed.
The other mural that we worked on was the Main Street Industries mural. So they ran simultaneously. This one was awarded to a single artist in more of traditional format, where they did it in the studio and brought it to us. It was designed as 5 4x6 panels on metal frames, and was unveiled at the Holiday Magic event as well, and displayed on the stage. I'm going to show you some pictures to show you how versatile this mural is and can be used in many places. It's currently at the community center in our Phantom Art Gallery. The community center, of course, is closed right now because of Omicron. And so I don't think too many people are seeing it unless they're popping in and taking a quick look when they go to get their tests. But hopefully very soon, when we reopen, people will be able to come and see that at the art gallery.
Tegan, is I should know this, but is the Barbara Lee Center open, the community?
It's only open for lunch.
Okay.
Right now.
Could we move those to that area, by the lunch area?
We perhaps could, yes. I can talk to staff and see if that's a thing that we can do right now.
Why not?
Yeah, that's a good idea, John.
I saw these murals at the holiday event. Yeah, it was very pretty.
I'm glad you liked them. So this is what they look like up close. And again, these were, the selection committee liked the whimsical look of them, and they're all drawn from actual photographs from historic Milpitas. Very bright colors. And they served as a great backdrop. So this is a picture taken at our Christmas karaoke night, where members of the community sang karaoke on stage, and we used them as the backdrop that night after we unveiled the artwork. We also used them later in the weekend as wing space. The Nutcracker, they weren't a suitable background for the Nutcracker, so we had to take them off stage, but they made a great backdrop or wing space to hide the dancers as they were back here waiting to go on stage. So that was nice. And then of course, that mural was always conceived as a backdrop for people to take selfies and take photographs. And we saw many people doing that at the event. So it absolutely accomplished the mission that we had hoped for. And I will stop screen sharing now and talk to you a little bit more about the mural program. So as I said, we were allotted $50,000 toward a mural program for up to 4 projects, one of which we've already done. And that leaves us with 40,000 left for murals and a goal to do 3 more. One of which needs to have a Milpitas artist as its designer. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm hoping to open the call back up to recruit more artists, and hoping to open the nomination form in February. We would like to get people thinking of all the possibilities of mural locations, and that does include utility boxes. Utility boxes, we currently have a dozen utility boxes in town, some of which have been tagged with graffiti and probably need to get painted over. And there may be others that we are ready to paint over and try something new on. The utility boxes are always intended as a temporary artwork. You paint them with the understanding that, you know, anything can happen to those utility boxes. If a car crashes into them or whatever, that artwork needs to be replaced, needs to be redone. And those were done by students with an art teacher finishing up the project. So the artists, for the most part, are not in town anymore. We did consult with the teacher who assisted at the time. And his thought was that perhaps it would be better to just paint over utility boxes and invite new students to paint rather than trying to repair the damaged ones that have graffiti on them. So, so those might be excellent things to nominate as locations. I'm sure that you all have driven around Milpitas and seen other walls that are bare or could use a little sprucing up. And so I know that people will have good ideas for that. I don't really have an action that I'm asking you to make on this other than just to get caught up on the program and to take a quick look at the call for artists that was in your packet. This is substantially the same as the call for artists that went out in the fall. The only difference now is that we've taken off the temporary projects that we did in the fall and noted that you know, the city council may choose with your recommendation to do murals anywhere, and that we specifically want to encourage Milpitas residents to apply.
Thank you, Keegan. Do we have any questions?
So
Well, if you don't, I do.
ask a question about the utility box. So if students are interested in working on it, what is the process going to be for that? If a student and teacher is interested in working on it, how would they be doing that? What would be the process?
I've seen different cities do it different ways. What we would probably do would be select a utility box that you feel needs to be painted and then assemble a small group to look at the portfolios of the artists who might potentially be invited to do that utility box, paint that utility box, and then invite some number of artists to submit designs. And then that committee would recommend a design for it. You could probably group some utility boxes together. That's a smallish project. So you would probably be able to afford multiple utility boxes in one grouping.
So I think oh, sorry, go ahead, Robin.
So for the utility box, I think we need to do a fair amount of guidance. I would like to see what they're actually going to do rather than picking a person because we like their work and then having them do something we don't like, it doesn't match. If these are art students, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be a great project for the teacher to have them do designs for boxes and tell them that what we want is something that complements the area. And that is, I think, should be our main guideline. I mean, we don't want an ocean on Jacqueline, and we don't want, I think they're ridiculous. So it needs, when you see our utility boxes that really strike you, it's usually something that really goes with the building behind it, the shrubbery around it, it complements it instead of standing out like a sore thumb. So I really want to have a firm grip on what these are going to look like before they go in, rather than letting someone, I feel like in Milpitas with the artists, we have picked so many artists where we like their work and then they decide to do something different for ours that I don't like. And I don't want to go there again. I want to see exactly what they're going to do. I'm done. I want it to be pretty around here.
Well, two comments on that. First of all, I welcome Robin, and all of you should speak out like Robin. I think that will add some color to this commission.
Oh.
Secondly, I agree with you, Robin, totally. I would go one step further and say that is how I would see guidance in terms of our master art, work plan, art plan for the city is the process that we implement. I without any comment on any particular mural that's gone up recently, I feel that blessing the artist is one thing, but then I think you have to bless their work, make sure in fact it is consistent and it's in tune with how the city sees itself. The city being the community and the council. Going back to the boxes themselves, we went through all this once before. We did a lot of work. I think, Robin, you were involved too. We went round and we actually photographed all of the electrical boxes and we gave a condition report. Now this is old, and we don't have that, the database for that. But it seems to me that we should be pinpointing those that really need immediate attention. And I would probably suggest that there are about a dozen of those, and then just really focus on those 12. So I think it should be part of this mural program. Now, whether we sort of ask the commissioner to, take responsibility for that or coordinate the effort, I don't know, Keegan. It doesn't have to be city staff, I don't think.
I guess I'm not understanding what you're taking.
There is identifying some electrical boxes that need immediate attention.
Absolutely, you're right. No, I would welcome, like I said, in February, we hope to launch a website that will allow people to nominate sites, yourself and others as well, to nominate sites. And so, yes, I would hope that you would look and determine which ones you think need attention so that we can bring everybody's ideas to this group, and then the commission can look at all the places that have been suggested, and you guys as a group can decide what are your top priorities. Absolutely.
Okay. So as when we come to sort of future items or future topics, I think that could be separated, isolated as a particular topic that we agendize for our next meeting. Okay. I do have some questions on the allocation of money from the Public Art Fund for murals. Is that fiscal year or calendar year?
The money that was allocated,
the 50,000.
The 50,000 was allocated for our fiscal year.
Okay.
But public art money remains in the public art fund. So if you were not to spend the 50,000 entirely, it's not like it goes away.
No, and I know that we've got some very good people in finance, so I know it wouldn't go away. No, my concern, Mike, is whether we had to spend the 50 for between now and June, the end of June, or whether or not, if we don't, it just carries over. So more importantly, is there a rush for us to find, to use that money to find the 3 artists, or the 3 potential artists?
I wouldn't describe it as a rush, but each year you're going to be asking city council to allocate funds. And if you don't spend your funds, they might not need to allocate an additional 50 next year.
Okay.
Full amount. So I think the goal would certainly be to try to get 4 murals. And they've given you $50,000 to do that.
Okay. From my vantage point, and certainly the other commissioners may have a different position on this, but it's quality, not quantity. So from my standpoint, 1 good mural between now and the end of June, not spending all the money that we have available, is a better approach than trying to find 3 muralists and using the money. So for what it's worth. Clarify for me the 2 murals at the holiday event. Okay. One of them you're saying was the funds were allocated out of the public art fund?
The funds were allocated out of the public art fund for both, but one of them was part of this mural program that city council approved, and the other was approved prior to that, as city council approved some money from the public art fund for public art at Holiday Magic.
Okay, so can you, I guess, can you, the Christmassy mural, the one on the fence, how much did we spend on that?
That was $4,000.
4,000. And the other one was 10, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a balance left then of the 50. Is that a fair statement? We have a balance left, or do we have only the 10,000 comes out of the public art fund, so there's 40,000 still available?
The 10,000 came out of the 50,000 that they allocated for the mural fund.
Okay.
So there are $40,000 left in the mural, the mural program right now.
And the 4,000 did not come out of the public art fund.
It came out of the public art fund, but it did not come out of the mural program.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
For the murals, I wouldn't mind doing a presentation again on public art. I don't know how many people were here when I did that before. Were very many of you people here? John, were you here? You were here, right, John?
Yep. Yes.
I think everybody else is new because it gave a lot of, it was just slides of public art in various places, of sidewalks and crosswalks and the different things, the many different things that you can do with that kind of public art. And I think it might give us some ideas to go by now that we have more of a newer group.
Tegan may not have access to that.
I have access to that. It's fine.
Why don't you share it with Tegan and just get her to take a look at it?
Yeah, it could only take 5 to 10 minutes to look at the slides.
I think I still have the slides somewhere too.
I think I've got it right here on my desk.
Well, Tegan, do you need acupuncture?
I can take it to her.
Okay. I guess what I'm hoping, and this is where I was addressing the minutes of the last meeting, is I would like an opportunity for us to go through the process that we went through to select the two murals, understand what we did and how we did it, and if there are any ways that we could find ways to improve it. I have heard nameless comments that they were good, and a lot that questioned also whether they were the right thing. So it's not an issue of the art itself, it's more of the process. And I don't know how we do that, but perhaps discussion, maybe it's a subcommittee, would that make sense, where we just talk about it? Or should we just have a discussion at our next commission meeting on it?
I think you could have a discussion at your next meeting, at your next committee meeting. I do want to remind everybody that those two particular murals, we were on a fast track goal. The mural program was approved in mid-October, and City Council wanted those murals to be completed in one in early December and one in mid-December. So
I totally
are
understand.
on a very, very quick timeline.
I totally understand that, and I understand the reasons for it. But I guess having spoken actually to one of the artists, that they felt strongly that they were under a very critical time pressure. Given more time, they would have done a much better job. So, and those are their words. So I think it's good for us, I think, to talk about that. Not only getting value for money, but also giving an opportunity for the artists to really use their creative natures without, a strict time a deadline that was very tight.
I believe the mural program indicated that under normal circumstances, it would be approximately 6 months between the time a mural was awarded and the time it was finished. So we cut that by 2/3 to get these done.
No question about it. I mean, my comments.
Actually, less than that, because the contracts were done in November. So they had about a month to do things.
I understand.
Yeah.
I still feel that, we don't have lots and lots of money. So what we want to do is spend our money wisely for the art to last a long time. So from my standpoint, it's careful steps. And so I would like to suggest that we include that in our next meeting, a discussion on the process. It may have been an ideal process, and I may be wrong, but I got some feedback that I felt that we could have done a better job given more time. And if we did have more time, what else would we do? Okay, that's fair enough.
Did we have a process that we were presented with? I remember voting online, but those were not for the holiday murals that Tegan is talking about.
Right. What you all did was pre-qualify artists, and those artists were presented to selection committees. And under normal circumstances, the selection committee's work would have their recommendations would have come back to you and then back to council. Neither you nor council had an opportunity to see those works for this particular time because we only had.
Yes, very, very little time.
And I believe that that was clear when we
yes,
accepted the charge to get them done that quickly.
So I was thinking about a rubric that everybody can have a chance to not rate, but yes, to give comments and at the same time rate a piece, and then maybe that rubric and survey can give more light on how will the piece actually look and start seeing the quality of the artists.
Yes, Juliana, I think you're right. unless there's any disagreement, I think that this is a great opportunity. We've got a full commission board at this point. And I think it's worthy of setting down some guidelines, perhaps tweaking a few things, and then encouraging the council to bless a more detailed process, I guess is the best way of putting it. Okay. Are there any more comments on?
Yeah, I do have some comments, concerns. Basically,
Okay.
like last year, we've been given this budget and we've been told that we need to get 4 murals approved in 1 year. So it's not like something we got it as a surprise. So if we are not able to achieve that target, that means we are missing something. So how can we fix that going forward? Is there anything that we can improve in our process so that we can get these 4 murals done still in like a remaining time frame? So that's what I would like to brainstorm.
Very good. It sort of dovetails with my old beef, and I know that it probably won't change, but if you think about it, the work plan was actually approved late in October, several months after the year had begun. And I'm not sure that it's going to be totally changed, but we did make a push, I think the year before last, even, to try and get the work plan for the future prospective year, in this case 22-23, outlined in complete detail prior to July, so that there was an opportunity for council to look at that, and we would have 12 months, maybe let's say 11 months, with their blessing, to make things happen. So I'm not in it. I'm not sure that's going to change, but I think we should keep that in mind all the time, that do our very, very best to get things going as fast as possible and begin to be prepared to identify what we want to do that might be different from what we have in this current work plan, have it and start talking about it now, so that when we hit July, August, we've got a kickstart, we've got a head start.
Yeah, thank you for your comment, but I was thinking from a little different angle.
Okay.
Like it's not like why we missed it, but like, okay, let's say we could have done something in different. Let's say that the agenda came to us late. Agreed. So now what? Like my question is like, what do we plan to do between now and next meeting so that we can get maximum number of murals done during this fiscal year?
I'm not sure. Tegan, do you want to try and answer that in a general way?
Sure. I think, Commissioner Umarani, if I'm understanding you correctly, you're wondering what we can do to be most prepared to move the process along quickly.
Correct.
And so the things that I would suggest would be, if you're okay with the call for artists that's in your packet, that I can issue that call for artists tomorrow, and we can begin immediately seeking Milpitas artists and other artists for your consideration, and they go through the pre-qualification process. So hopefully we would have some new applicants for you to pre-qualify at your next meeting. And I would say the call for artists I have indicated as ongoing. So if I got some prior to your next meeting, I could show them to you then. And if the few came in late, we could show them to you at the meeting after that, so that we continually have our pool growing. The other thing that I would suggest from a staff point that we could do to move the project along would be, as soon as the website is up for nominations of sites, for you to help nominate sites and encourage others to do so. And that would be, that would mean that by the March meeting, we would potentially have some sites for you to consider and some new artists for you to consider. And I guess even if we had a special meeting, as I know has been suggested, you might be able to consider some artists. I don't know that we'd have enough sites yet for that consideration to happen so quickly, but certainly by March.
Yeah, so great suggestions, and this is what I was looking for. Basically, I was thinking from more like an engineering approach, where let's have a plan how we can fit it in next 6 months. And I think these are great steps to get started. And I would like to hear from other commissioners as well if they have any other recommendations so that we can move this process faster. I think Commissioner Hess, you're on mute.
How about a subcommittee to sort of brainstorm some stuff and bring it to the commission's next meeting?
Yeah, I would be interested. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I think, you know, since it is not just our ideas that work here, it is the community that has to be involved. So right now, alongside with that, we need to find out how we can do a community outreach. So if it's the postcards that we are thinking of, then let's get on and get that done so that once we are chosen, you know, the mural artists, postcards with information can be sent so that the same, you know, problem doesn't arise again.
I have one more recommendation on that. Postcard is a very good idea. At the same time, can't we use Facebook pages because it has more community reach? When, like, for example, from my personal experience, right? Mail, I don't even check that frequently. Whereas first thing I check in the morning is Facebook.
Or we could do next door.
Yeah, good.
That would really work well.
Yeah.
We
Something
did
like
next
that.
door last time, but I don't think it reached out. I mean, I didn't even see it.
Well, you can only do what you can do. I mean, even when we did all these other events, the turnout was not often great. I mean, we do stuff like have ice cream in the park to try to get people and still didn't get a ton of people. But the people that come, you get their votes and take it to city council, and it has a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm. I think the challenge is a broader challenge for the city. It's getting the word out is a real challenge to the complete community, and I'm not sure that Facebook's necessarily going to work.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it won't, because if it's, for instance, if it's Dixon Landing wall, I'm 100% sure the neighbors are not going to. There isn't any Facebook just for Dixon Landing, and so it would come on next door. But again, if they open the, you know, the document, then they will see it. So we really can't push anybody to do it. Like Robin was saying, we can just do this and hope that people will see it.
I also think that there's several different efforts, not only one. For example, Dixon Landing, on Saturdays, it's very, very well attended, especially when the weather's good. So we can have like a little focus group or an invitation for conversation, additionally to a survey, additionally to the postcard. So we ensure that we have 3 or 4 strategies to try to bring as many stakeholders as we can.
Exactly. Like, I'm not saying that we just rely on one thing. We do everything.
So when we send a postcard, are we going to say vote online, or how do we do that? It is vote online, isn't it?
It is vote online.
Yeah.
Yes.
May I ask you a question, please?
Go ahead.
It seems to me that you may be talking about 2 different art processes in the same conversation. So the art process that you're remembering for the Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing, which is the one where we first, in the thick of the pandemic, attempted to do everything online and did not get the response that City Council was hoping for, and then had to go back out and be present and try to get people in person, which was for the Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing project. It's a different process than what you recommended to council and they approved for the mural program. The mural program was a committee of public stakeholders. And so it was never intended to be a community-wide vote for those smaller mural projects.
For the Montague Pedestrian mural, the reason we were told that it didn't go through was that there wasn't enough community outreach.
Right.
There was not approval of that particular artist and his artwork. We don't want to have that same bottleneck for the next one. So how are we going to be able to solve that for the next one? For instance, if it's the Dixon Landing artwork,
Sure.
I think going to reach out to everyone so that there is an approval. We might approve of it. The final approval is from the neighborhood. So how do we get that to work? That's where
it's not always the final approval. I mean, they get our input, they get the neighborhood input, and even if we want to override the neighborhood input because there isn't that much and we liked a different one better because we may be more versed in this, then it goes to city council and they decide. Usually they pick the neighborhood, but anyway, it's not their total decision.
Maybe we could also look at our calendar activities that are in the Dixon Landing area now and or the next month and try to incorporate this this show, this tour about the mural and see how much attention can we get.
I think what we've typically done with projects like the park projects or the Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing project, where you're trying to get community input, is taken several choices to them and asked for their input on the several choices. And you're absolutely right. There are many ways for us to do outreach, and it would be great if this commission were really invested in the outreach and, you know, wanted to go out to Dixon Landing Park and man the table and also spread the word on social media and do postcard, whatever it is that you guys would like to do in addition to what staff does would be absolutely great. The thing is, though, we don't have anything to share with the Dixon Landing community just yet. And with the smaller projects, the mural projects, I think that city council's not asking you to go to the community for, say, a utility box. So that's where I think there's a little confusion.
It really doesn't come up until we've got the art down, and then after we decide who it is, then we have to get the community. We have to present it somewhere in the park or whatever to the people and get their input. At that point, we can't do anything till we get the art, right, Tegan?
Yes. Yes.
Should we move on?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I kind of like Juliana's idea of just taking Dixon Landing as a
example.
Yeah. What is wrong for a group of commissioners? You know, there's only a small group here, so I'm not sure that we can do all the outreach. But what is wrong in actually, at some point in the next month or so, given decent weather, go out there and talk with the local community and say, look, this is your choice. This is something for you. It's going to be permanent. It's going to be something that recognizes and acknowledges how important your community is and how important this park is to your community. And actually just get feedback. Maybe it's interviewing, maybe it's a short questionnaire that you ask. I don't know whether they're Sandeep, are they still playing cricket over there?
Oh, yes, they are.
Okay, so let's go over there and set up a team and we'll play against them, whatever.
What if we went to the local elementary school that has all the kids that live in that area and gave it to the kids and told them to take it home to their parents and let them decide?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We just, most of the time you go over there and people don't even want to talk to you. They think you're selling something or whatever. So you're going to have a hard time, period.
You reckon, huh?
Tegan, what kind of, what would you be sending to for outreach? Like, would it be pictures and 1 to 10, what's your rating? How would you gauge how would you gauge this from the people?
We probably wouldn't go out to the people until we had something for people to look at.
Yeah.
Which is not to say that the idea of going out and asking their opinions before there's something to look at is, not also a good idea. You could also do that. I think it's easier for people to have a reaction to something when it's a visual item there.
No, I was actually talking about that at that point when we already had decided on the pictures and the artists, at that point when we are, already decided on the pictures and the artists, what are you presenting to the community and how are you asking them to rate it? What is the process there? Because we are not part of that process.
For Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing, our initial inquiry to the public asking their opinion was done online, and it was a website that had photographs or had images that the artists had designed and the artist's description of what their artwork their artwork statement was, what their process would be, what inspired them, what the artwork meant. And we attempted to get people to respond online by publicizing it on social media. Next door, we sent an email message to all the residents of that apartment building that live adjacent to that piece of art, where that piece of artwork is going to go. We did, I think, have mention in various city publications. So, but it was all online initially because we were in the pandemic and we were not, at the beginning of COVID, we were not out there asking people questions. The response that we got, I think, was somewhere in the neighborhood of 200 answers. Maybe it was less than that for that first round. Maybe it was closer to 100. And that was not a sufficient sample size for council for that particular project. So they asked us to go back out. Then when we went back out, we made poster boards, which essentially had the same exact thing that the online pages had, but we had the poster boards out in front of people. And I stood there and invited people to give us their opinion. And sometimes when they're asked, in a public place by a person, they're able to, take a moment and give you an opinion. But it was a lot of asking. We had, I want to say 12 events that we went to and 3 hours at each event.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Why don't we let the little kids decide? Then they can live with it for the next 12 years and go, wow, I helped pick that out. They're the ones that go to the park.
So I think the poster board idea is a great idea for the schools. I mean, just in case for Dixon Landing, that would be a great thing to have right there when parents are coming to pick up their kids, and they have it is their responsibility to choose what they want to see.
Yeah, you give the paper to the little kids that say, these are the 3 ones, and they'll go home and here's where you vote online. Kids know how to go online at first grade. And they can go home and take to their parents. What you don't want to do is have somebody vote, 100 times that's not supposed to, but I think you probably have to put in your address and stuff like that, don't you, Tegan, or not, when you go online?
You can ask for their address, sure. For the one that we did for Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing, we asked what city you live in. We didn't ask for your.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, people aren't going to really, keep that much, but
Gotten very off track on our conversation.
I know, we
Yeah.
really need to get back
Yes.
on agenda.
Okay.
This should be done when we have everything ready to go.
Okay, so I think that this ties in very nicely with the thought that we had earlier in the meeting about just looking at the process for selection. And I'm going to sort of tie a knot in this a little bit. I do feel that the crosswalk actually has a different significance to how we select versus those that are in the parks. The parks should be reflecting that local community. The crosswalk really is an introduction to the city of Milpitas, and I think there's a different message we might want to send that isn't just the local apartment complexes and so on. But my suggestion is that we save this. I'm not sure that I could effectively summarize the conclusions we've reached on this, other than we've got to find more efficient ways to get public participation. The website, Tegan, that you refer to is a website that's a page on the city web. Is that correct, or is it?
It was a survey site that we used. It's called Survey Monkey.
Okay.
And so there was a link that we used on different things. But I think we should probably finish up our mural item 9B.
That's what I'm trying to do. But if you could just answer the question on the website. There was another reference to the website in the mural program. That's the same thing. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what website you're.
Hang on. Let's see if I can find it.
Oh, for the site nomination, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so the site nomination would be off of our main website, off the city website.
Okay. So just for my 10 seconds or less, if I go to the city website, where do I find that? Because I'm struggling sometimes with getting a lot of the information off the city website.
Sure, it is difficult. I think that we'll probably have to make a short special link for it and let you know what that is, but it doesn't exist right now.
Okay. All right. Shall we move on? Are there any other questions? I shouldn't push you all. Are there any other questions on this? Thank you, commissioners. Okay, so let's move on to 9C, Phantom Art Gallery application.
Quickly before we do that, is everyone good with me issuing a call for artists tomorrow to try to seek Milpitas artists, to get more artists?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thanks.
Yes.
The answer is yes. Yes, Steve.
Yeah.
Do we need a vote?
We could take a vote, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Do we have any nays? Any abstentions? Okay, do you want to do a call then, Tegan?
Ag,
Yay.
Rahim,
A.
Ghosh,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Heckelman,
Yes.
Putnick,
Yes.
and Umarani.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. So 9C.
See, this will be a fun one. Give me just a minute to switch screens here.
I have to tell you, this is probably a long day for Tegan. Typically, I see her rolling up to her office at somewhere close to 7 o'clock in the morning.
Tegan is a very hardworking person. I saw how hard she worked during
Yes,
the winter festival. Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
yes. Every day.
Every day.
Well, thank you, but I'm home right now. We are working from home at the moment. So our next item is a virtual Phantom Art Gallery application. And for those who have not had the pleasure of working on the virtual actually, I should say not virtual, it's a actual Phantom Art Gallery application. And this one is for an artist named Saranya Chandrasekaran. And the Phantom Art Gallery was established by the city in 2000. And our goal is to provide local artists an opportunity to share their work and an opportunity for local residents to see a wide variety of artwork. The Phantom Art Gallery exists as a room at the community center and as several spaces at the library. And we have recently added a virtual component during the pandemic because we could not show things in person. All genres are eligible for our artwork displays. 3D display options are a little bit more limited, but what you're being asked to consider tonight is a 2-dimensional artwork. Artists of all ages and ability levels are eligible. So some of our displays have had children's art, and then others it's professional artists. So it ranges anywhere between the two. The artwork, if it's being done in person, is installed and removed by the artist with staff supervision, and should be labeled. They can list a sale price, but the staff doesn't handle sales. We just refer buyers directly to the artist, and the artwork needs to remain in there till the gallery exhibit ends. Your role when you are asked to approve artwork for display is to approve or deny the exhibit proposal using the approval criteria. And you can make suggestions regarding the preferred display gallery or the time of year that you'd like to see the artwork displayed. And then we encourage you to attend any exhibition receptions or other events as your schedule allows. The approval criteria that you should keep in mind as we're looking for this is, does this provide a new viewing experience? Is it different from things that you've recently approved or that we've shown recently? Is the artwork appropriate for the general public? Does it reflect the artwork or the artist reflect the community's diversity? Does it provide opportunity for community enrichment? Does the artist have sufficient work to fill the exhibit space? And do you personally find the artwork sufficiently engaging, thought-provoking, or otherwise worthy of display? So the artist that you're considering today, Ms. Chandrasekaran, is a Milpitas resident and a self-taught artist. She's an engineer by trade. Her works are primarily in acrylic, pastel, and charcoal. And her application says that she likes to explore themes of perception and nostalgic ephemera. Her goal is to marry themes in art, science, and technology to make the art more accessible and in general to increase the appetite for art consumption. So here are some of her work, and I am going to present them for her, but with some comments too, and oh shoot, I have all my comments. This is a painting of her, inspired by her childhood days and visiting her grandmother's house. And this is part of her nostalgia collections. She tries to incorporate many different things from her Indian homeland into the pictures.
You said it's 2-dimensional?
Yeah, they're paintings. They're not 3D. They're not sculptures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it pastels?
Yeah, it looks like it.
This one, I believe, is pastel. Yes. Yeah. This one is a conversation, carried conversation. With my screen here so I can see what probably not saying the name of the town right, Kanakembaram conversations. But she's remembering conversations in this picture, the opportunity to just get together with friends and really have a fun time chatting and remembering time in her hometown.
Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic, for sure. Yeah.
She had a mask on.
Pardon me?
I think she had a mask on in that last one, didn't she?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Tears in Silence. Another one, just sharing the nostalgia for her homeland. The pieces as she's, if you have an opportunity to look at her Instagram page, it's very interesting. She shows you the different layers of the artwork as it comes together. So you can see how she built the pieces. And she uses lots of different colors. This one I know was inspired by a photograph from the 1800s. And she noted in her materials that it was particularly striking to her because of the contrast between the Victorian couch and the Indian woman looking like a queen. And I think the sense of being relaxed and not having work constantly on your mind was appealing to her as a modern woman with a full-time job.
Really?
This is a charcoal sketch that she did from memory from a trip to Colorado. And she indicated in the work that as they came upon this spot, it was an unexpected spot on the highway, and it was so beautiful that she was able to remember all of the little details of the light as she saw it then, perhaps even better than she would remember a more typical tourist spot. The Unannounced Visitor. This one, I believe, is inspired by a photograph from another artist, and she mentioned that it is in her hometown common for people to drop in as visitors, and so that's what this is remembering. This one, marketplace scene, she said was reminiscent of the days when she would go with her mother to the temple and walk through the market to get to the temple, and had a nice story about how as a child she didn't like wearing flowers, but now she, as an adult, finds the flowers very attractive and would like to wear them, as this woman is wearing in her hair.
It is very typical for the southern part of India.
Is it?
Wear flowers like this.
Mm-hmm.
The orange ones do not have smell, but the white have very beautiful smell.
Oh, good. Okay.
They don't go out of the house without flowers. It is so customary.
Nice.
That's nice.
And then this is from a trip to Utah. Pencil sketch or charcoal sketch, I think.
Yeah.
This next series is dealing with perception, and she mentioned that this series is based on animal photographs, but she was playing with color here and trying to demonstrate or depict the different, how things would look in different colors than what we see. And the bird's eye view comment had to do with the fact that the scientist in her was exploring why birds are so many different colors in their plumage. And she learned in her research that birds can actually see quite a wide variety of spectrum of colors, more so than people can. So the bird's eye view, things may be much more colorful than what we can see. So these are all photographs that she has taken and then colored, and so she mentioned doing the blue and the lavender violet for the animal skin here, so different you don't necessarily think of them as blue or violet when you see them in the wild. And then some bear cubs from a visit to Alaska. So I'm going to stop my share here. And what you're voting on is whether or not you think that we have a place in one of our galleries for Ms. Chandrasekaran's work.
Before we vote, are these framed? Do you know?
I don't know if they're framed. No, I receive them digitally, but the artists typically do frame them to hang them in the gallery when they're doing an in-person gallery.
John, it's required in the guidelines that they have to either be framed or they have to be painted all around the sides, I believe is how it's written. So I always think that same thing, but it's required in, I think, Tegan, you go over those rules with them, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I completely.
How did you like the art?
I loved it, and I would love to see it in the gallery.
I did too.
Particularly liked her Indian landscapes and people. That was very incredibly beautiful.
The people were great.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask one of our commissioners that hasn't said very much so far this evening. Christine, how do you react to these?
Oh, I found it like very pretty. I don't know why, but like if I see like a painting with like that brings back childhood memories, I feel like that would really like bring the community together. Like, oh, I experienced the same thing as you, and I don't know, it just makes you want to reminisce more of your childhood.
Well, in a similar vein, I really like to see, I mean, we are a very mixed community, and I really, in fact, actually, Robin, you can remember back in the old days, we had a subcommittee trying to find ways to share our cultural richness. And this, I think, is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I think it's excellent. Excellent. Jamie, you haven't said anything. How about you?
No, I liked Christina's comment about how the community togetherness, and as Joyita has mentioned, like how it was part of Southern India area. And I was like, oh, that's a pleasant, like you noted that, Mark, and I thought that was a beautiful moment. And that was some togetherness right there. So
where would you propose these? Are you suggesting virtual? Did I miss something on this? Or could these be in the library?
No, I'm actually thrilled that she's interested in displaying in person. She's indicated she would display at any of our galleries, and I would love to have this in person, maybe at the library.
Okay.
Do you think at this point the library one is the most attended, Tegan?
I think it is. That's why
Yeah.
I'm leaning.
I agree. I don't think it used to be, but I think it is now because community center just kind of isn't.
Yep. So before we vote, and I think I know the direction we're going, I think the artist should know that a reception would be important. And I would really like to be talking with her personally. So she should be encouraged to be there whenever she is available, perhaps at the opening or whatever.
So when they do an exhibit at the community center, reception is easy for us. When it's at the library, it's more challenging because the artwork is on walls that are in areas where people are using the library. So
it's not a problem. I mean, we could meet in one of the conference room afterwards and just talk with her about what motivates her and so on. So, I like the art. I think it's very interesting. I like she's driven and she's motivated, and I just like to hear more from her. Okay, well, I guess we should have a vote.
please.
Okay.
I'll move to accept.
Okay, and a motion to, excuse me.
second.
A second. Thank you, Robin.
Nope, that was Jamie.
Jamie was the second. Okay.
Okay, Robin motion, Jamie second. For you, Tegan. Why don't we let Tegan do the roll call?
That would be great. Chair Ag,
Yay.
Okay. Commissioner Brahim,
Yay.
Commissioner Ghosh,
Yes.
Commissioner Hayes,
Yes.
Commissioner Heckelman,
Yes.
Commissioner Hutnick,
Yes.
and Commissioner Umarani.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's all, and welcome, and please let us know as soon as she gives you the go-ahead and when she's available, et cetera, Tegan.
I definitely will. Oh, I see. Actually, you know what? I just noticed that she joined us online. So would you like me to allow her to chat?
Please do.
Okay, I'll let her say a few words. Ms. Chandrasekharian, and I'm so sorry if I've mispronounced anything, but I'm going to notice that you're in the chat now.
Hi, everyone. No worries. I think you got my name right. Yeah, this was nice for me to be part of this conversation, and you did a great job presenting it, Tegan. I don't think I would have done it as well. Thanks for that. Yeah, this is exciting. It's very welcoming. Thank you, everyone.
Soraya, I don't know how much of the conversation you heard, but I think we all said yay. But more importantly, I think it would be important for you at the reception to be there so that we can meet you.
Absolutely, John. Yes, I'll be thrilled to.
Very good. Very good. Well, make it tomorrow, okay?
Sure.
We'll connect this week and we'll figure out when's a good time.
Very good.
Sure. Sounds good.
Thank you, Saranya.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Before we move on to 9D, a couple of things occurred to me. I had suggested the public art mural that we had for Main Street, the what was it called now? The Main Street murals, the activities of Main Street.
Main Street Industries mural.
I suggested a community center. You know, another possibility, which maybe gets some attention, is actually the Civic Center in the hall there. As you're closed at this point, when you walk up to the entrance, it would be good to have something visual that you stand from the outside and can see. And there are two entrances to the Civic Center, so it could be one or other. I walk my dog quite regularly around there, and just looking at those sofas inside, there's more that we could be showing off. So the murals there would be that's a good choice. It might also be an opportunity for us at some time to encourage the council and the mayor to consider having some art, real art, in the Civic Center at some time in the future. I hope he's listening. Let's see.
I am here.
Okay. Bertrand, well,
What do you mean by real art?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What do you mean by real art?
Some professional artists, perhaps from the South Bay, who would really like to show their art publicly. Well, I don't know. I chose the wrong words. I should say art that perhaps has stood the standard of time, that are recognized artists that we would appreciate, that have already been recognized in the community. So they're not emerging artists, they're artists that are established. That's the best I can do, Joyetta. After we hang up, I'll come up with a better answer than that.
I got you there.
You did. Okay, 9D, public art project updates.
Sure. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on various projects that we have in process right now. The let's see, Higuera Adobe artwork is in its engineering process, and we are trying to get that restarted. Again, the pandemic has slowed us down on an awful lot of projects. So that one is, I hope we'll see some progress on that in the springtime.
Well, let's slow down. Explain to me what that means, because the pandemic should not have affected. Is this the sculptor? Are there some issues with the sculptor? Is there some delay there?
So there's actually all of our projects have encountered supply chain issues.
Okay.
And so when I say pandemic, I'm kind of lumping a bunch of things together. I'm lumping supply chain issues and difficulty communicating and getting things approved in a timely fashion. I'm talking about for some projects, people being unable to come to Milpitas at a particular time or wanting to wait until things have resolved a bit more.
I understand. I guess specifically with Higuera, because I sort of grew up with that one on the commission, inspection and everything else. What is the problem specifically with that? Why is it taking so long?
It's an engineering issue we're trying to solve.
Okay, from the sculpture standpoint or from the city standpoint?
Both. It's trying to get the engineering approved and in a way that that the engineers are needing things to be built a little bit bigger than what the artist had originally designed and intended. So the costs have changed. So we're working it out there.
Okay.
The other one that I wanted to update you on, well, Montague Pedestrian Overcrossing, we're working on contract issues with that. And hope that that one will get started also in the spring. So hopefully those two will be in the spring. I think the rest of them we've actually already talked about, with Dixon Landing being on your work plan, and the mural projects we talked about in depth.
Okay.
Was there anything else that you were hoping to hear about? I'm trying to think if there's anything. There's nothing else that I can think of right now.
I don't think so. Okay. So we've received your report, so I don't think there's need to be a vote. Unless, do we have any other questions, I guess, on the in-process sculptures and art? No. Okay. So that we move on to city liaison reports. Tegan, do you have anything to add?
Only very briefly, I would like to let you know that the Disney Descendants show is scheduled for the Milpitas Community Center for an in-person production at the beginning of March. And we are all crossing our fingers that that will be able to happen in person as scheduled. You might want to look on your calendar for March 4th, 5th, 11th, or 12th as a potential day to come and see the show.
Okay. And is there a contingency of plan B if it's not in person?
I think the plan B is to move the date, perhaps.
Oh, okay.
So they are rehearsing currently virtually and outdoors. So they're doing some things outdoors socially distanced and some things online.
Okay. Okay.
Tegan, do you have a date for the February meeting?
Well, there isn't a February meeting scheduled unless you opt to schedule a special meeting for February.
Which I'd alluded to, Jade, in context with the feedback that we received from Tegan in terms of how we would go about selecting the or putting together the RFP, excuse me, for the public art master plan. And I really do feel I'm arguing strongly for having a February meeting for that topic. Perhaps there's some other things we could add at the same time.
I think we should have a February meeting.
Okay.
Happy to check the city's calendar and then poll you with some choices of dates.
Yeah, there's a
Don't
challenge.
leave it around the other already scheduled meetings.
Yeah, that's the challenge these days. I think there's so many Zoom meetings going on, but let's see what we can do, Tegan. I think it would be a good idea if we can. Okay. I should ask Mayor Tran if he has anything he wants to add.
Yes, I'm here. Great meeting, everybody. I enjoy really watching and listening and learning from every single meeting. First, I do want to say how happy I am that we have our new commissioners. I want to welcome our new arts commissioners. I can't tell you how much our city really values your time and your engagement and your contributions to the Arts Commission. It certainly helps the chair and the vice chair and every commissioner when we have those seats filled. The effectiveness of each commission, even the city council, every sort of collective body in our community, including the Arts Commission, it truly is at its most when the seats are filled. And I really want to give a nod to our chair and vice chair for sort of going out in the community and finding the leaders of today and tomorrow. So thank you for that. In terms of the items that were discussed, I think there's a lot of great points. And anytime there's an item, really any item, I wanted to say that any important item, but they're all important. I think there should be time for discussion, deliberation, analysis, assessment. And so it was great to hear that this evening for this meeting. We'll do a time check here. It's just past 9 p.m.
Yeah.
I do want to encourage every commission, including the city council, to really be mindful of the time. Efficiency and effectiveness is key. And I hope folks can continue to move forward. The more efficient the meetings are, the better it is. And so certainly thank you. And again, I'm really ecstatic to welcome our new commissioners. When I saw the applications come in, I knew something was brewing in the Arts Commission. And I love the way in the direction the Arts Commission is going. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Tran. Yeah, I think the council needs to start setting an example in terms of the timing there sometimes. But let's see, there was one other question I had for you. I guess, poor Tegan, it all sort of funnels through her directly and indirectly. And you should know that I have very, very high regard for her, and she's doing a super job. And so if it's worthy of anything, it's a credit to Tegan that she's actually keeping us together and making things happen for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. Thank you, Tegan. And of course, we've got Christine here, Mayor Tran, and she was quite vocal when we asked her. I've been working with her in other capacity, and I have to tell you, she's a great little commander. Be careful; she'll be on the council one of these days.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I think that our commissions are really the place for folks to grow their leadership in City Hall. And I can't tell you how many council members and mayors that start off as commissioners. It's certainly a passageway, if I may say. And I'm really looking forward to the leaders of tomorrow. And I know that perhaps there may be each and every one of these commissioners and we have here tonight that has the option to give more.
Thank you, ma'am. Well, it's the end of a very productive meeting. I thank everybody and look forward to seeing you all at the next meeting. And As of now, it's what, 9:05, the commission is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Thank
To
you.
everyone, have a great evening.
Good night now.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye, Christine.